everyone, my name is Grace Pasaway and my class from DDT N3 and my number metric is 01DDT21F1052. So today I'm going to talk about my problem-based tasks. So there are requirements as a network administrator. You need to configure the basic configuration and IP addressing for each device based on the topology and table 1. Second, perform VLAN and inter-VLAN based on table 2. Set trunk mode to the appropriate port and allow only the listed VLAN to the network. So the third one is perform inter-channel to based on table 3. Number 4, perform testing and verification for all connectivity access to MUO on the PO domain. Show the verification. Okay, so this is table 1, IP addressing. So here is it. And I have to do the subnetting table. So for VLAN 11 until 55 is these brown areas. And for VLAN 50 to 51 is this blue area. And VLAN 61 until 91 is this red area. So there is the table. So let's take a look. So for VLAN 11 is guest is 172.30.11.0. This is the network ID, and the first network ID is 172.30.11.1, and the last ID will be 172.30.11.254. Broadcast will be 172.30.11.255, and the prefix is 25. So VLAN 22 student is 172.30.22.0. Once the first network ID is 172.30.22.1. So the last ID will be the same. The last portion will be 254, and the broadcast is like the previous one is 255 at the end, and the prefix for VLAN 22 is 24. So for VLAN 33 is lecturer. The network ID will be 172.30.33.0. So the first ID will be the first one, 172.30.33.1, and the last ID still the same, will become 254 at the end, and the broadcast also the same, 255 at the end. So the prefix will be 25, seems like the VLAN 11. So for VLAN 44 management is 172.30.44.0. So first ID will be 172.30.44.1. The last ID will be the same, 254 at the end, and the broadcast 255 at the end. So the prefix will be 28. And the VLAN 55 native is 172.30.55.0. So actually the difference of each VLAN network ID is here 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. It represents for the each VLAN. Like VLAN 11, here will be 11. VLAN 22, so here will be 22. So if you want to start a first network ID, we start from here. It's the host portion. And the last ID will be 254 at the end, and 255 at the end. And the prefix is 29. So for 50, VLAN 50 and 51 on the blue area is account and admin. So for account, the network ID is 192.168.50.64. So the first ID will be 192.168.50.65. The last ID will be 192.168.51.126. The broadcast will be 192.168.51.127, and the prefix is 26. For the admin is VLAN 51, and the network ID will be 192.168.51.128. And the first ID is 192.168.51.129. So the last ID is 192.168.52.62. And the broadcast will be 62 the end, 192.168.52.62. 52.62. So the prefix will be 26, seems like the VLAN 50. And the VLAN 61 until 91 is the red area. So management, VLAN 61. The network ID is 10.1.61.0. So the first ID will be 10.1.61.1. So the prefix will be 27. And VLAN 71 is staff. So staff will have 10.1.70.0 network ID and 10.1.71.1 as the first ID. So they have 28 prefix, 28 for prefix for 71, and VLAN 81 is server. So server has the 10.1.81.0 network ID and the 10.1.81.1 as the first ID of server. So the same things they had is prefix 28, and VLAN 91 is native, 10.1.91.0. Native have the first network ID will be 10.1.91.1, and the prefix will be 26. So after we, based on the table we create, we can look at the table 1 and we can configure one by one from here, from the subnetting table that I create. So we continue with the table 2, which is the requirements second is perform VLAN and inter-VLAN based on table 2, set trunk mode to the appropriate port and allow only the listed VLAN to the network. So for table 2 is list of VLAN. So before we connect with the VLAN and inter-VLAN, we have to create the VLAN. So this is the command to create VLAN is from 11 until 91. So for A1 until A3 and B1 and B2, we need to create VLAN from VLAN 11, 20, VLAN 22, VLAN 33, VLAN 44, and VLAN 55 as A1, switch A1, A2, A3, and B1, B2, B4. So the VLAN 50 and VLAN 51, we have to create on the switch HQ3. And VLAN 61 until 91, we have to create it on switch HQ1, 2, and 4. So after creating this VLAN, and we name it, don't forget to name it, and we need to create to connect the VLAN by the range. So this is the command for A1, A2, A3, and B1, B2. First, we need to go for the config key mode. After we go to the config terminal mode, we need to enter inter-range F0/1 until 3. Switch port mode access, enter. Switch port access VLAN 11, enter. Yes, we based on this. table. So the first one is the first line here we have done, and so we continue with the next. Interrange F0/4 until 10, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 22. Interrange F0/11 until 15, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 33. And interrange F0/16 until 18, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 44. And we finish the part of A1, A2, A3, and B1, B2 here. So we continue with the HQ3. So for HQ3, we need to go for the config terminal mode. So after we go for the config mode, we need to write interrange F0/1 until 10, switch port mode access VLAN 50, and interrange F0/11 until 20, switch port mode access VLAN 51. So after this, we continue with the HQ1, 2, and 4. So we need to do the same thing, config T, and after the config mode, we have to enter interrange F0/1 until 5, switch port mode access VLAN 61, and interface F0/70, switch port mode access VLAN 61, interrange F0/6 until 10, switch port mode access VLAN 71, interface F0/18, switch port mode access VLAN 71, and interrange F0/11 until 60, so switch port mode access VLAN 81. And don't forget for PUO, when we're doing for PUO router on stick, we need to do some steps before we start. So the first step, we need to go for config mode, and then we continue with the interface G0/1 and turn it on with no shutdown. After we going for no shutdown, remember to type exit, and we go for the interface G0/1.11. It's the sub interface of G0/1. So when we write after the interface G0/1.11, we have to write it encapsulation.1Q11. After we type this, we have to type in our IP address 172.30.11.1, 255.255.255.128. This is our subnet mask, and this is our VLAN number, because when we look at G0/1.1 at the table 1, it writes that first IP address of VLAN 11. So since the G0/1.11 is from VLAN 11, so we put it here. So just like interface G0/1.22 is from VLAN 22, so we write it here 22. And the interface G0/1.23, the VLAN is 23. Interface G0/1.44, so here is the VLAN number, and here G0/1.55, and the VLAN number is 55. We just write it here. And so the same thing we need to do in JPPKK is just now we do the router on a stick. So we go to the config mode, interface G0/0, and we need to turn it on. So we write it no shutdown and exit. After exit, we write it interface G0/0.50 is the sub interface of interface G0/0. So after we write interface G0/0.50, so we need to write encapsulation.1Q50 because it's from VLAN 50. And the interface G0/0.51 is from VLAN 51. Interface after we do done the interface G0/0.51, we exit and go to the interface G0/2, and no shutdown, we need to on it and exit and continue with the interface G0/2.61 and put the VLAN 61 G0/2.71 and continue with 71 on here encapsulation.1Q, and continue with 2.81, here our VLAN number 81, and continue with interface G0/2.91, and here is 91. So after this we can start to do our interchannel. So in our switch 1, we have to do config terminal, and we go for the config mode. So after this, we have to type in interface range FA0/19 to 20, channel group 3 mode desirable and exit, interface port channel 3, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 33, and 44, and interface range FA0/21 to 22, channel group 2 mode desirable, exit. Interface port channel 2, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 33, 44. Interface range FA0/23 until 24, channel group 4 mode desirable, exit. Interface port channel 4, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 33, 44. That's all for switch A1, and we continue to interchannel A2. We have to write config T in interface range FA0/23 until 24, channel group 4 mode desirable, exit. Interface port channel 4, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 33, and 44. So for interchannel A3, config T, and after that we write interface range FA0/23 until 24, channel group 3 mode auto, exit. Interface port channel 3, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 33, 44, and continue with the interchannel B1. We also have to do the same config T. Then we write interface range FA0/21 until 22, channel group 2 mode auto, exit. Interface port channel 2, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 33, 44, and exit. Interrange FA0/23 until 44, channel group 1 mode moto, exit. Interface port channel 1, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 23, and 24. And interchannel B2 is we have to do the same, have to go to the config terminal mode, and we write it interface range FA0/23 until 24, channel group 1 mode desirable, exit. Interface port channel 1, switch port mode trunk allowed VLAN 11, 22, 33, 44, and 55. Oh my god, I forgot to add 55 at this area. So actually, when we write switch port trunk allow VLAN, we have to write it all VLAN at here so that they can connect to each other. 55, 55. Okay, so after we finish the command that until B2, we have to allow VLAN 11 until 55. So in HQ1, we also have to do the interchannel. So we start with config key interface range FA0/19 to 20, group channel group 5 mode active, and edit interface port channel 5 switch port mode trunk. Switch port trunk allow VLAN 61, 71, 81, and 91. Exit interface interrange FA0/23 until 24. Channel group 6 mode active. Exit interface port channel 6 switch port mode trunk. Switch port trunk allow VLAN 61, 71, 81, and 91. So for HQ2 is we have to write interface range FA0/19 to 20, channel group 5 mode passive, edit, interface port channel 5, switch port mode trunk allow VLAN 61, 71, 81, and 91, edit. For HQ4, interface range FA0/23.23 until 24, and channel group 6 mode passive, edit, interface port channel 6, switch port mode trunk allow VLAN 61, 71, 81, and 91. Okay, after we doing the ether channel, so for this port here, PO to A1, this port here, this yellow area, and these another two area from the blue side, blue area and red area here, the yellow area, we need to make it trunk. So how to make it trunk? Just like this. Wait, what's port in this? So for G0/1 A1 and HQ3 G0/1 and HQ1 G0/2, we need to make it trunk. So like switch port mode trunk, interface G0/1 here, and switch port mode trunk, and switch port trunk allow VLAN 11, 22, 33, and 44, and 55. So for HQ3 G0/1, so we have to go to config mode, interface G0/1, and we type switch port mode trunk and enter switch trunk allow VLAN 50 and 51. So for HQ1 G0/2, and we need to go to config key interface G0/2, switch port mode trunk, allow VLAN 61, 71, 81, and 91. After that, we need to do for every switch, we have to write it QW show run. It will write IP domain name www.edu.my. So how to write it this? How do we do this? We can write it like for A1 enable QW. We go to config mode and we paste it IP domain name www.po.edu.my. So we write do show run. You can see here IP domain name www.po.edu.my. So for JPKK here, this red side, this red area, we have to do it for all switch. Like QW, en QW config key, and we write IP domain name www.jppkk.edu.my. So we write do show run. Let's see. So here we become IP domain name www.jppkk.edu.my. So based on the router. So if beside PO router left hand side, which is browse side, the switch here need to enter the IP domain name for PO www.po.edu.my. So if here is JPKK right hand side, we have to type it www.jppkk.edu.my. So after we done this all, we can try to ping. So let's see. From PC7 to DNSPO field, we try to click the red button. Oh, it's successful. So continue with the PC8 to PO, successful. And what PC is this? Okay, let's remove this brown area. It's too dark for me to see the PC number. So from PC6 to PO is successful. PC5, 4, and 3, 2, 1 to PO. Okay, 7, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All are successful. Let's test the right hand side blue area here. So let's try from PC10 to PO, DNSPO, successful. PC14 to DNSPO, also successful. Okay, let's start from the red area. So from PC13 to PO, PC12 to PO, some more, PC11 to PO. I think it's enough. We just test the end device to the PO. Okay, let's see the right hand side. So for PC10 to PO is successful, and PC14, which is the both of PC10 and 14 is from blue area, both are successful to DNS PO, and PC13, 11 is successful to DNS PO. And where is the PC12? Let's try to PO. Oh, it's full. Let's delete some. So this list, even list is full, so we need to cancel it to try our connectivity. So if PC2 to DNS PO, is it successful? So it's successful. All right, that's all we're going to do today. Thank you, everyone.